No, I live in Decatur.
Right on, man. Well, we are live, Kevin and Fatmanz Revenge, and obviously we're speaking a bit beforehand, and we've kind of had the opportunity to be able to speak to you on and off for the last few years, tattooing and whatnot, and so
Yep.
I'm kind of muttering here, but really, I'm really interested to kind of get an insight into where the world of music started for you. Where how far back does this go?
Um, I would say my first passion. I would say I'd always loved music. My dad, even though I didn't know him that much, I only met him sort of a handful of times. He was a musician. He used to be singing around the pubs and the clubs in Manchester. One of them really old hat on a Sunday afternoon. You have the old guy singing. That was my dad. So I could say I do fully believe that music can be embedded in your DNA. I do think that, some people say you either got it or not. Of course, you can learn everything, but sometimes there is a natural ability. There's just something there. But I wouldn't say I was probably 11 years old. I remember starting high school. Well, before that, actually, I remember visiting my cousin in Liverpool, and we used to pretend to do concerts and stuff in the living room, and just singing other people's songs and what have you. But I think 11 years old, started high school, started playing the drums, loved playing the drums. And then, as the years progressed, my sister, she was about 4 years older than me. So she started listening to the old, the Death Row stuff, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style,
Yeah.
The Chronic, Warren G. These were the sort of, and when I heard it, I fell in love with hip hop music mainly because of the storytelling aspect. Because of the poetry behind it, where it wasn't made to be commercial. It just happened that it did, and it took over. But it was mainly Tupac. The Tupac is. I always say sometimes that I didn't really have a father figure in my life. It's Tupac in a way kind of raised me. Not
Mm.
no,
No, I know what you mean. I
in
know
a
what you mean.
way that just to wear your heart on your sleeve. And just be true to yourself, and it's just that's what I like about music. It's personal, and if people can relate to it, it's great. But at one time, it would have been my major ambition to be, when you're young, worldwide star. You've got everything that you want. But to be honest, it's not even about that. I'm not bothered about making money off it. I mean, obviously, if it did, it'd be great. I think you're a very, very lucky person that if you get to do something you love for a living.
Mm.
Whether that, if you love flipping burgers, great. If you love what you're doing, that's amazing. Congratulations. It's to get what I'm saying is, to me, it's not about money, and it's not music's not about money for a lot of people. They just do it
No.
because they love doing it. It's as simple as that, really. But
Well,
that's where it started.
that's it, isn't it? Like anything art created, and obviously so it's just like it kind of goes hand in hand with even with down to motorbikes. Obviously this is called like the Let's Talk Motorcycle podcast, but however, it's not just about bikes. It's about creativity. It's about expressing who you are, whether it be in sound or whether in a piece of metal or on your skin. It's an incredible thing to be able to create something from nothing. So it's yeah, it is cool. It's like, I mean, I've said to you loads of times, like I would love to know how to write lyrics. I mean, I have an idea in my head, something that I want to express, something like what we spoke about in the past, but like I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, it is. I think being able to write lyrics is harder than like a tattoo design that I've done, or like getting an idea out of my head into a motorbike that I'm working on. Like I think it's hard, man. I mean, like did you take? So obviously, like say you discovered like hip hop like 11 years old. Like when at what point did you start to think, do you know what, I want to do something? I know obviously, like you said, the dream was to be a superstar, but obviously that idea probably came before the idea of right now I need to learn how to write lyrics. I mean, I'm only guessing,
It was not something. I mean, educationally, I'm crap. I'm the bottom of the barrel. I didn't have a single qualification to my name. Yeah, everything in life, I've sort of self-taught myself.
Mm.
Um, Apart from writing lyrics, I suppose it's just something I did.
So it came natural.
Yeah, you just write stuff down. Oh, that rhymes with that. Oh, that'd be good in there. I can make something out of that. Take that meaning and make it mean something else. But yeah, no, when like I say, my first instrument was the drums. That's the only instrument I actually ever had any lessons for. And then from there, learned to play the piano myself. Generally, YouTube videos. Learned to play the guitar. Anything to do with music. I've got such a wide spectrum. So one day I'll spend the day, if the sun's out, listening to pop punk, Blink-182, New Found Glory,
Yeah.
and then I'll be listening to gangster rap. Then the next day I'll be listening to 90s trance, and then the day after I'll be in the Motown and Northern Soul era. It's just anything that gets you.
Yeah.
But lyrics, I don't know. Again, the person I always bring up Tupac, and people. I think the way the media always portrayed Tupac was in a bad light. If you listen to his stuff that wasn't made for that commercial gangster stuff, and his most thoughtful stuff, that's where I learned to sort of open up and hold it down and just be honest, because you're not alone. If you think that your life is anything special, it's really not. There's millions of people that have had the same upbringing, feel exactly the same way as you. And my wife, for example, she hears some of the lyrics on a track I've got called Deeper, which is when I was at my darkest point, and she gets upset. And my sister as well, they will get upset. But then people will comment and saying, oh my God, I love this. I can relate to this. It's because they know now that they might have felt alone. But when you hear words that resonate with you, and even if they're so fucking depressing, they kind of make you want to kill yourself to the untrained ear. People take comfort in the fact that I felt like that. So we're not alone, and that's what music can do.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
that's
why I
it,
love
innit?
music.
And that it's 100%. It's just like, obviously, like I listened. I'm very similar in like my genre of music. So I can go from like Blink-182. I can go down and I listen to like Howlin' Wolf. Like blues. I love blues. Then I go and listen to a bit of Rammstein. I think it's like you say, and you generally find that something connects with something a lot. Two different styles of music, they can kind of like inspire something, or like you can relate to something of it. I mean, I say I don't have rhythm. Like my youngest son, my youngest son does drumming lessons, and he's got like a great rhythm. He gets rhythm from his mum. I mean, we have a
I
lot
was
of
just about to say, then, is he getting it from his mum?
Don't get it from me, mate. Don't get it from me. Like I say, I generally do not have. I can't hold a beat. I just haven't got it. I mean, I love music, but like she really loves music. Like there's always music being played here, and obviously both my boys have got into music. My youngest, he listens to like German. What's it called? German hardcore. Like some weird like techno German style, like hard, like almost like some of the stuff you hear in like The Matrix, and like it's like, and then he'll go
Right,
and
yeah,
flip
yeah.
over,
No,
and
it's
do you know
I'm
what I mean?
really contradicting myself now. I'm like, I love all sorts of music. There is some music I can't get on board with.
Yeah,
Obviously, I was trying to
yeah,
give you a wide spectrum, but now you've said that, I'm like, actually, no. It even
yeah,
comes to a point where there's an appreciation for music, but there's certain stuff now. I feel like modern music, in particular, it's like music used to be. There was always something new. There was always something fresh. There was always a new way to do stuff. And now it feels stale. A lot of the new acts,
yeah.
especially in hip hop, feels really, really stale to me. And that's why I've just released, remixed a couple of my tracks using some very old school style beats. Because music kind of bores me. The only thing I like about the music industry now, obviously being a fat guy as well, is that them standards where they used to be. You know, you can be anyone. You know, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you've got good music, you got good music. That's the only thing I appreciate about the modern day music scene in general. But I can't get on board with like the mumble rap stuff, and you know, it's, you know, but people are making music now. They don't have to be musicians. They have it in front of them, and it's like click 4 pads in an order. You've got a beat, you know. Add some auto tune on. There you go. So I'm I sound proper bitchy now, don't I?
No, but I get. I mean, I say I get it. Obviously, I can't create fucking shit to save my life, but like I can see it. Like some of my boys will listen. Like my boys will listen to some of this new rap, and it's like some of it's just like, and I'm just like, I don't get it. But I tell you what is crazy though, and it'd be interesting because I know obviously you've got a son. Like I remember I've come into my flat and I can hear something through the door, and I'm like, what the fuck's that? And I open the door, and my eldest son is listening to the same Eminem record at the same age I was when I first heard it, and I was just like, wow.
It's funny, like my son.
Oh my god.
He has started getting into music now, and obviously we've got this Amazon Music account, and he's got his own playlist on there. And obviously he knows what's ever popular on TikTok and Fortnite and things like this. So he came across Eminem, did a crossover into Fortnite, and I had the pleasure of showing him the Slim Shady LP for the first time. And now
how old's your son?
He loves it. Bad parent moment. He's 11. But yeah, he's no, he's picking it up. But he's upstairs now, and he's probably watching this. So some of the music he's listening to, and it's crap. You know, I'm trying to instill some good music, but it's like times have changed. Times are changing, and what, you know, it's funny, isn't it? It's really funny that when we were teenagers, we would say the same stuff to the older generation. That music's crap. This music's great, and they'd be like, "No, none of that. Blah blah. It's all motherfucker this and motherfucker that." And
honestly, though, dude, like I remember first, I was I'd moved to Spain when I was 9, and I remember going to a bar in Estepona at the age of 9, and I first heard blues, and oh my god, mate! From the age of 9, I have been hooked, like to stand there and get shivers down my spine just listening to these dudes shredding the guitar the way they were. I mean, obviously shredding, not like heavy, but you know what I mean, like the way they're like. I can't fucking do it, but like the way they do it in blues, and then they get the harmonica, and I was just like, oh my! And but the emotion, and I think that's kind of what it was, even at the age of 9. And like I say, I don't have a rhythm, but I could it might sound corny or whatever, but I could really fucking feel the emotions behind the blues, and I think that's kind of what attracted me to it.
Most modern music, you know, comes from blues. You know, there was a clear divide. You know, blues was created in the cotton fields. You know, when slavery was there, and that's how they used to get through the day. And you know, that's why a lot of it is very passionate, and that's what it's not so much the music. The music is great, but when you hear the words and the emotion that someone when they're singing, you feel the pain, and that's what resonates. And it's funny because obviously you've got blues, and you know, they had these almost poetic lyrics and soulful, but then as blues picked up, they had sort of the rocky guitar, and you can see a clear divide from where you had blues and the family tree of music. It was like hip hop and soul and rock and roll.
Elvis, you know, like, you know, you've got like icons in there. You've got like, even though they're two completely different generations and style of music, but like people like Eminem and people like Elvis, completely different, but however, they were the people that fundamentally probably split. Like, you know, Eminem makes reference to it quite a bit in a few of his songs. He makes reference to Elvis, you know, how like, in Marshall Matters, one of the songs, he makes reference to how he's not the first white person to make money off of Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm trying to remember the words now.
I can't fucking remember the song, but like,
I think
you know
thing since Elvis Presley.
Yeah, that's it.
Used black music so selfishly to make myself wealthy, and it's
And it's right.
Yeah.
It's fucking right though. But that's just it though, and it's like I think like that's how powerful music is because Eminem wouldn't, Marshall Mathers, he wouldn't have realized that he was going to shape a new generation, you know, because he was just obviously doing his thing, like how you're doing your thing, and like, did you ever think like when you created some of your songs that they would did you actually think they were going to resonate with people as much as they did?
No,
Because
I
that's
mean,
probably,
the
I'm
people,
guessing that's
people
probably not why you did it.
no,
Sorry to
no.
speak.
The main reason I do, it's really weird, right? You know when I'm doing sort of hip hop music, and when I'm writing lyrics, they are, they can get dark and they can get very serious. And I'm trying to make them a bit more uplifting, sort of starting dark and then they're getting uplifting. But if I'm writing a song on the old acoustic, it comes out like a proper lovey-dovey pop song. It's weird. It's like one type of music resonates with me. So I think when it comes down to hip hop and rap and me writing my lyrics, it's a release for me. It's basically it's like writing in a diary but doing it out loud.
Mm,
That's all it is. It's just a way to it's therapy
mm,
in a way, and
mm.
that's why well in my rap music it's really personal, really personal stuff. And that's because it's how I make myself feel better in a way. You say
Yeah,
something out loud, it's better if it resonates with people that listen to it. That's absolutely great.
yeah.
But it's not the reason I do it. I do it because, well, I don't really promote it that much. It's only because you know me, you really know of the music.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, and I think yeah, and that's like why like obviously like before we went live like it's weird because I think because we have spoke a few times like in the past and obviously we kind of got a bit of an idea of like where things have come from as to like do you know what I mean and it's like it is weird I mean it's a great thing it's a great I think obviously to be able to take some experiences and put them out to like because at the end of the day they will comfort people like you said that people will relate to what it is you're referring to and I think it's almost I'm probably not very good with the right words for it but I think it's like a privilege to be able to if you can tap into someone's emotions and like not deliberately but it hits them in a weird way like I think it's a gift. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, people have different emotions as well. It's like we just said there in one of my songs, my wife and sister will get upset by the lyrical content. And that's because they know me, so they
Yeah,
don't like me talking about
yeah,
that, them darker days. But then you might listen to it and go, "That's amazing. I'm not on my own." So it makes one person upset, one makes one person happy.
yeah.
That's just human beings, though, isn't it?
Mm.
We're all different. We're all wired completely different. Um, yeah, but yeah.
So what do you do? Like you just like you wake up one day and you're like all of a sudden you just got this. I mean, like I said, I think I said to you before. Like I attempted to write a song. I've got quite lucky. I got a friend who's like yourself, very good at writing lyrics. And first of all, it was difficult to sit down and kind of say, look, I need this to do this. And he's like, right, okay, right. It almost felt like a therapy session. And he's like, right, so what is it that we've got to get next out of it? And I'm like, well, it's got to do this, and it's got to make certain people feel like this, you know. And then like I've said to you, like I wanted it to feel like this for that person when they heard it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like before we went live, like I said to my missus earlier, like I'm finding it I'm really difficult to sit and do this because I feel the way I feel. That because you obviously I don't want to. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say it on here, but you know where I'm coming from. You
Yeah.
know, I mean it's great.
But
I'm
again,
enjoying it.
what you said there, alarm bells ring is where you're there essentially in the studio, you're with your friend, right? You're saying, I want people to feel this way.
Yeah,
That's not how music should be done. Music's about you. It's about the person making it. It should be like what I want this to do because this is what I want to do. if it resonates with people, that's
Yeah.
fine. If you start doing that, you're just simply going to put too much pressure onto yourself, and you're gonna, try and perfect every little thing. And there'll always be something you're not happy with. I
Yeah.
hate my recordings. I hate the sound of my voice. I just do it anyway because it's not, it's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's what, personally, you should never.
Yeah. Not for me. Like, I was certainly not. I'm certainly not like. I didn't want to do this to like jump into your work. Like, I don't consider myself a musician of any shape or form. I just kind of, for me at that time when I was trying to do it, it meant I wanted to achieve something. I wasn't looking to achieve a lovely song for people to listen to. It was, I needed to do this because I needed this person to feel this. Like, it was aimed at a certain person, and I like to say, and it never ended up getting done properly. But I started it. But I say, for me, like, to know that people like yourself that can just literally just fucking create something of how they feel, and obviously you'd have to obviously fine tune it and that. Like, you sent me one of the like raw renderings of one of your songs that you recently released, and even though you said I ain't finished, I was like, fucking hell, like this is awesome. Like, I know, obviously since hearing the final finished version of it, you can see that you've gone in and cleaned things up, like the sound, like you said, it's only just a basic rhythm and that you sent me on WhatsApp. But like, for me, I would have been like, oh, I fucking created a song. Like, I would have been done. Like, I was like, listen to this,
I'm done.
I'm fucking done, man.
I'm
Like,
retiring.
I'm fucking, where's my Bentley? I'm fucking, but yeah, no, I think it's like, I really admire people that can create music, especially music that comes from a different place in their life. Like, to create a chart song because it's got to sound cool and corny. Like, that's easy. Like, they don't even write that shit themselves, half of them. But like, to create something from somewhere and some experience, like, it takes guts.
What you're doing here with this podcast, so realistically, there's not really any much difference in what we're doing. And the only difference is I'm putting mine behind music. If you just went live on yourself and just started blurting out all your personal shit, and no, you're gonna find someone it resonates with. You're doing the same thing. Obviously, music is, it's great, but you're doing what you do, and there's no difference between. It's an art, isn't it? Being able to present what you're doing, you're doing a great job, and then you've got actors and movie stars and artists and dancers. It's all that's what I love about creative people in general. It's we as creatives, they have the power to change the world, and it's the creatives that change the world. That's why I get so pissed off with the educational system, not teaching kids what the fundamentals of life. Most people that make something of themselves don't really have any qualifications to their name. They're the ones that didn't listen. They're the ones that get told, shut up, he's got ADHD or he's too hyperactive, but it's just creative minds are not meant to sit there
No, 100%.
do nothing and follow the rules. When people
100%.
don't follow the rules, that's when good stuff happens, right?
Yeah, no, I get that, man.
It's also when some bad shit can happen as well. But from an academic sense,
it can. But I suppose, like, obviously, if you're lucky enough to like have basic morals embedded in you before that gets out of hand, to know what's wrong and right, like to know where you can and can't push the boundaries. Obviously, unfortunately, some people do fall short and like lose their way completely. But obviously, if you're lucky enough to straddle the line, I mean, what's one of the, I can't remember the proper quote for the saying, but like, what is it? What is it? A smart man. I can't remember. But basically, one person will follow the line, but a wise man will straddle the line, or something like that. Like as in rules, as in.
Yeah, it's kind of like why be the sheep when you can be the shepherd. Is that you don't confine to the norms, and you're willing to just you're willing to just be you, do you. That's all we can ask from ourselves. At the end of the day, even if you die broke, but you're happy and you've got no regrets, and you can say, well, even if I mean, I don't know, I've had a bit of a shady past as well, like most people are. We're humans, we grow, we learn, we evolve. That's what we do, right? So in theory, you know, I've done some bad stuff in a past life. Of course I have. But I honestly stand here now and, you know, sit here in this podcast and think I've brought more positivity in this world now
Yeah.
than anything I ever took away from it when I was young.
Which now is making sense why you've run to the Costa del Sol. You've done the usual, man. You're on the here's fucking Costa del Crime. Fucking gangster.
It's actually not though. This is the thing.
No, man, you're seeing it.
It was weird when, you know, we moved from the UK, and it's hard. I lived in Devon for 10 years. I was born and raised in Salford, Manchester, which is, you know, it's very culturally amazing.
Yeah.
There's always some music, there's always some event going on every night. And you move to Devon and there's nothing going on. If it's live music, for example, it's a cover band. It's like here, you know, there's lots of cover bands, there's lots of musicians, there's no original things going on.
I mean, there is, if you tap in with the Spanish, obviously, like, what was it, like say, obviously, people that don't know, like me and you, we've spoke on and off over the course of about 5 or 6, well, at least 5 years, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I remember contacting you saying, look, one of my mates is fucking insane with like the similar style of general music that you generally do with rap, and like the Spanish are fucking awesome with rap if you get what they go, you know, where they're going with it. I think there's some really cool Spanish rap out there, man.
I suppose what I'm getting at, I think, you know, when I lived in Manchester, you could go out any day of the week and you would go and find a gig with 4 or 5 unsigned acts doing original music every single night in several places. And that's what I miss. There's something heartbreaking. I know people make a living, and again, this is the sort of people have said to me, you know, you love doing music. Why don't you go and perform in, you know, the bars and that and doing covers? And I'm not there yet. I think it's people make a living off it, and it's great. But there's a part of me that goes, you know, once I start doing that, you know, you might as well say
kind of feel like
goodbye to the creativity. You know, you start there doing other people's songs.
Yeah. I mean, you've got an event coming up. Is it June? You're doing an event.
Yeah, 1st of June.
Yeah,
it's a fundraiser. And no, that's going to be cool. That's going to be my first gig in probably about 14 years.
Really?
Yeah.
How you feeling? Are you shitting it?
Oh no, I love it. You know what? When it's live, if there's 2 or 3 people in the crowd, it's terrifying. If you've got a good crowd, it could be a few hundred, a few thousand. It's amazing. It's like there's no nerves, the more people.
What's the biggest crowd you played to then?
I don't know. I think it's at least a couple of thousand. This was when I was in a band in Manchester. Like I say, I've always done my hip hop stuff, but I've been in bands and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And we used to gig all the time. Oh, I'll tell you what, we had one great. We played the Cavern in Liverpool. You know, the Beatles.
I think I seen you put some pictures up. I think you got some pictures up of that place.
That was last year. I took my son because he'd never actually seen his birthright. Because even though my son was born and raised in Devon, but both his parents, you know, were born and raised in Salford. So we wanted to take him to Manchester, and I've got a lot of family in Liverpool. So we went to watch United, and then we went over to Liverpool while we were there, and you know, met some family. And but the Cavern was the most amazing gig and atmosphere you could ever imagine, because everyone's just in a good mood because they're in the history of the Beatles, you know. So we're an unsigned band, we're playing our songs, and there is all different types of Asian tourists. They're jumping on the stage, they're dancing about, and people it's like that Beatles energy. It's something in the Cavern I don't think you can get anywhere else. I mean, I played many shows, I've been to many shows, but there's something about being in a place that you know is the birthright of the Beatles. Something special about that place. I mean, even if you're in Liverpool or you fancy, you know, a weekend away, every single day they've got live music on, local acts and stuff like that. It's just worth just to go and soak it in. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've never been to Liverpool. I've been to Manchester. Last time, as a matter of fact, actually, last time I went to Manchester I went to Old Trafford. My brother's a Man United fan. I don't do football, but So, but it was a great
Being I'm a United fan. It's just hard work at the minute. It's just lame.
Well, I just don't like, for me, football but it was a great experience to walk around the stadium and that, and like I think my brother really he got more enjoyment out of knowing that my son is a Man City fan and gave him a ticket to do a stadium tour around United. Like bought him a shirt as well. You just see my son's face. Like we got pictures of him. He's like, it's like, for me, I don't give a shit. Like I'm not football for me. But the time before, me and my missus, we went to is it Phone? At the time, it would have been called Car Phone Warehouse Arena. Like we went to see 30 Seconds to Mars at a big stadium in Manchester. That was incredible. That was Jared Leto is what a guy. Like just stood there with an acoustic guitar, turned everything off pretty much, and just stood there and played like 3 or 4 songs just with an acoustic guitar and obviously a microphone. No electronics, nothing else. And he was just like, fucking hell, that is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a special place. I actually seen Eminem at that arena.
Oh, that's cool. I've not seen him. That would have been cool.
It was when just as the Marshall Mathers LP had come out, actually. I was really cool as I was there with my sister and there was loads of friends. We were all from school, and my sister, Eminem's best friend, Proof, the one that died.
Yeah.
He threw his bandana into the crowd, and my sister got it, like prized possession. And then a flat burnt down with everything in it. It's not funny, but it's that went with it.
Fucking hell. My brother's seen Eminem a couple of times. I think the first time he went to see him at Wembley. I think you got to see him at Wembley. You know when he sold out Wembley about 5-6 years ago, or if not a bit longer. He paid all this money for a ticket. He got that shit faced. He said he don't even remember seeing him. It's like, mate, what the fuck, But yeah, no, he's and then he saw him the last time he was in the UK. He said he saw him. I think he paid like £200 a ticket, just for a basic ticket. I was like,
it's wow. Ridiculous now the price of live music. Well, you can kind of understand it. Their musicians are not being paid a lot of money for streaming. No one's buying music anymore. It's if you upgrade to Spotify Premium, how much is that? Is it like a $5 a month or something like that?
I don't know, mate. I use the free version.
Yes, exactly right. So, so you, especially using a free version, you can imagine that there is no royalties. I think Snoop Dogg recently came out and he sort of took all these. He bought Death Row Records,
and
he took all the back catalogue off until they renegotiated, I believe. But it is literally it's a fraction of a penny for every stream you get.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely ridiculous. So you kind of understand why they have to charge so much now. They're only making their money from touring.
Yeah.
The touring and the merch,
But then I suppose on the other hand, would they be? I mean, obviously, apart from obviously, if we go to the new generation of rappers and musicians, would they actually be as big as they were if people didn't listen to them for free?
I think now.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's all changed now because obviously, the newer artists that not even the newer artists. I think the film stars, whatever. I think they make the majority of their money through social channels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's how they'll be making a hefty sum of money. Sponsorships, endorsement deals. But it's great. You remember there used to be hype about you'd find an artist and you'd love it, and you take your CD to your mates at school, go and listen to this, and it was cool. And even though I love the internet and it's opened up opportunities for everyone, I fundamentally believe now that there's not. I find it kind of impossible how people don't work at the minute because there's so many opportunities to make money online.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to learn about what. Obviously, I'm like there, like Kev. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, but I mean, even from a more basic sense, like you've got someone, say for example, they've got something wrong with their foot, right? So they can't work, they can't go to work. there's so many jobs online, customer service, sales. This it's all remote. It's all there. So I think that's great. So yeah, it is kind of like, if I hear people talk about welfare Britain and all this, I think that there is easy ways to make money. And if it was me, if it's the government, if I was, Fatmanz Revenge for Prime Minister or whatever, it'd be mandatory tech classes. That gets these people, now it's like you've got to go for 3 job interviews a month for stuff like this, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, you have to attend this mandatory IT class that's going to give you the basic skills. You will find a job. There's hundreds of thousands of them online. And if not, you've got the skills to start something yourself,
Yeah, definitely.
I believe they should teach sales in school, personally.
I mean, I think, like, obviously, I think obviously that, this is all designed. I mean, I suppose really you got to be. You can end up diving down that rabbit hole of. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think about a lot of this stuff, and I don't want to be one of them guys on the podcast that ends up diving down some fucking crazy rabbit hole with ideology and all that shit of.
I'll do it. Everything's corrupt. It's full of bastards. They want to suppress you and just pay enough tax.
Mate. Yeah,
you're
definitely.
That's what they've always done. Could you imagine if the national curriculum, whatever, taught people how to sell? Right now, people they hear sales, right, and it's like, telesales, face to face, door to door sales. It's got a bad stigma around it, right? But what does teaching sales do? You don't have to. There's no ripping people off in sales.
No.
But it teaches you confidence. So with that new set of skills and confidence, you can go out and find another job if you want to. You're going to have a better social life. You're going to meet people. There's always something to sell. Now, if you had every single kid in that school leaving school with the fundamental ability to sell, that kid and that kid's family will never go hungry. They will always be able to provide.
Yeah, I suppose it's like, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but give him a fishing rod, he'll eat for a week,
Exactly.
or a year, or whatever. But I get it.
Instead, it's the stigma, and people look up to the people in Wall Street and the traders and stuff, and like, oh my God, I wish to be one of them. Well, you wish to be one. There's a salespeople, mate. Do you know what I mean? Learn to sell. You can. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like something like, obviously, I spoke to you a few times. Obviously, like you obviously, for people that don't know, not only do you create music, you obviously you have your business where you develop websites, manage them, and like you obviously what you're talking about in what you're in the topic we're on about right now. So obviously, like you said, put an idea forward to me. With obviously what I'm trying to achieve here is, obviously, we're going to be building a website as soon as I get the chance to to get one built with you, and then the idea is that we'll treat the website almost like an online magazine, and then the idea that I can obviously reach out to companies to advertise on my site. But obviously the site's got to look good, it's got to work, it's got to do all the stuff that obviously that you'll be doing for me, because that's what what you're doing.
It's got to have traffic, if you've not got traffic, you can't you can't sell anything. But this is I really do get a bit passionate, because I think it's like you're doing something, right? I did nothing. I briefly on your past, I don't know if it's the same as me. We don't really come from nothing. We come from council estates where it was sort of embedded into you. Get as many benefits as you can. Don't work. You end up. I think by the age I was 18, I had the shittest credit history you could, but I didn't know any different. I watched my mum. And fair play, I've got nothing but bad words to say about my mum, but she was always getting in debt and this, that, and the other. Ultimately, it was to provide for us. But as I got older, you think, well, it wasn't actually, because we didn't need every single PlayStation game and that Mega Drive just because Rumbelows was stupid enough to give you credit. Do you remember Rumbelows? I was like, dodgy.
Man, I mean,
you're crazy,
I left England when I was 9, though, man. It was like, see, I mean, when I first moved to Spain, it was still pesetas, See, my parents both worked, man. I mean, So I was taught to work, but I think what I kind of struggle with in the world right now is obviously, especially in the UK, kind of touching on like the fact that, I didn't think this podcast was going to kind of go down a political type of thing, but like I struggle with the fact that like I feel that what I do doesn't count. It doesn't. It's not counting for anything. So this kind of like my direction with the whole podcast and the whole 666 Customs thing was like I go to work and all I do is survive. You know, which don't get me wrong, and I'm aware I should be fortunate for that. But I think like at the end of the
Yeah, but
day,
yeah, but sorry to interrupt. You're making moves to change that.
yeah, I mean I'm fucking
But
trying.
that's
Yeah,
I mean, don't be not that's what the system's designed to do. It's like you're just saying it's there. How many people are just surviving or under that, getting in
it's
mountains to death?
crazy. It's crazy.
And that's how the system is fundamentally designed.
Yeah,
Could you imagine if
yeah,
you had a country of like-minded people that think for themselves and don't want to abide by that? A lot of people are
yeah,
suppressed within themselves and
yeah.
scared to do what they really want to do
hundred
and they're
percent.
really passionate about and break away from that mold of this is where people think you should be, but this is where you could be. But no, you just stay there because you're not meant to
Yeah,
go there.
yeah. No,
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
and
You're supposed your family
100%,
tree's there. It makes
100%,
no
and
sense.
it's like obviously like what obviously I'm lucky enough that like you and like the 40 other guests that have wanted to sit and entertain me waffling on, I really appreciate it. But like my kids obviously to come in the front room and I'm sat in the corner. I tell this story all the time, but I'm sat in my corner and they come in and they look at me and they're like, "Oh, here goes Dad waffling on." But like I say to them, like, so obviously I started selling. I mean, I do like my own T-shirt, and the only reason I did my first T-shirt was because obviously I do video podcasts. So I wanted my logo on a shirt, and then someone was like, "Oh, that's cool. Can I get one?" Obviously, it didn't take much convincing to think, well, "Hang on a minute, maybe I could do some shirts." And the only reason I wanted to do them was to help build a bigger shed so I can work on more bikes and create better content. But like when I sold a T-shirt, like I'd spin the laptop round and I'd show my boys. I'm like, "Look, your dad's just sold a shirt." And obviously, I realized I'm not kind of like, so I dropped out of school. I don't have any grades in that, so I don't have education to give my kids. But what I think I have is I think for all the chaos in my head, because unfortunately my missus has to put up with me bouncing from fucking pillar to post in my head. I mean, I several times say it over is like my biggest battle is myself. And
Yeah.
and I think that obviously trying to learn how to control that as much as I can, and try to find a way forward. Which is why obviously I speak to you, because obviously you know about the internet side of business, and I've got to learn that, because my goal is, as you know, is I want to create an online business that and these are the words that you, Brett, said to me, is create an online business, register it in the UK, and then obviously that's being all going in the right direction should enable me to get my nomad's visa to come back to Spain, because that's the life I want to give my kids. I want them to experience the good side of what I had in Spain,
I'm
and
sure
that was,
I'm sure you'll get there, but on the
I
very
think
slim
so.
chance that even on the very slim chance you don't, what have you shown your kids? You've shown them you're
That
trying,
if you
you're
just
not
keep
giving
going,
up,
yeah,
you're a
yeah,
positive influence. And that's all we can hope to be, for our
yeah,
children. You don't give up. You don't learn anything if you get everything right.
no, no,
So
that's
it's
it, innit?
but
That's
yeah,
it,
no, what you're doing, that when you say, your kids coming in is like, it's on the microphone again and stuff like that. One day it'll click and go, that's why. Oh, right.
yeah, yeah.
That's what happened.
I mean, like because obviously I have like that at the moment. I use Buy Me a Coffee, which obviously allows me to take a payment, like a secure payment. So obviously it makes people feel comfortable that they know that they're paying into something where if they wanted the money back, they can get it back, because it's on a proper proper website,
Yeah, yeah.
buymeacoffee.com. So I use that, and obviously on there they can see that, all that where so like I say, I show them, and they get like proper hyped on, "Oh no, that's sold some merch," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've sold some merch," you know. And then obviously they see me actually doing, like, actually sat here like weaving weaving out all the design, you know, like even down to the hats. Like I put all the holes in the hats, pop the rivets in. I do, and like they see me doing that, and then obviously like you know, sometimes they say like, oh yeah, man, I told my friend that you do a podcast, and my friend thinks it's so cool, and it's like, fuck, you know, it's so fucking. It's a cool thing, but I kind of want to get back onto, so like when you, let's get back to music, because we've gone like, it's awesome that we've gone that way, but
this is generally a conversation that I think my missus is coming to the chat.
yeah, she
But
just dropped a comment.
she'll buy one of your shirts. She won't buy one of mine. She'll want one for free.
Have you got? To be fair, my missus actually wears one of my hoodies, which is fucking cool. Yeah,
I'm still trying to convince my wife to get a Fatmanz Revenge tattoo. I convinced my sister. My sister's got one.
Fucking. Well, that's obviously how we originally started speaking. Because about 5-6 years ago, I put out some adverts on selling sites on, you know, in the region where you live, like down near Estepona and that. Like, I wanted to kind of get like an idea of how many people would actually want to get tattooed by me, and I was really trying to get over there and get tattooing. I mean, I love tattooing. I find the industry very cutthroat, like in a professional side, because it is fucking hard. It's hard because there's so many good people doing it as well, and then there's so many people that want to chat shit on other people. Not everybody, you know, but for me, I just simply wasn't making enough money in the studio I worked in New York. I was very lucky. I was very lucky that Unique Inc. took me on. A great bunch of guys down in the Shambles in York, incredible artists, incredible studio, and I really am like honored that they did take me in and give me a chance. I wasn't making enough money to support my family, and I wasn't able to commit like how you're supposed to commit. You know, at the end of the day, you're supposed to give up your time and, you know, do a lot of work for nothing, and rightly so. Like, I just wasn't able to do it. But man, I was so fucking pumped that like I went from being a scratcher in my kitchen, literally in my kitchen, like first tattooed myself years ago, and I was so honored that, because to put a mark on someone's skin, you know, like kind of like with music as well. Like, I think when you're able to do something to somebody in an emotional way, whether, you know, or literally permanently mark them, creating art and making someone feel it a certain way, leaving them with a certain thought, leaving them with something that's going to sit with them for a while, it's a privilege and an honor. And like I said, I love tattooing. I fucking loved it. I still love the industry, and yeah, that's obviously I kind of waffled on it.
My first tattoo was in high school. A friend did it for me using a razor blade. He literally just carved my initials into my arm, and we stole some Indian ink. We stole some Indian ink from the art room, and we literally just rubbed it all in. I got it covered up about 7 years ago, but that was on me forever. You know, and it was sort of like incredible buyer's remorse. I remember like going back home at 14 years old. Was it 14? Must have been about 14. And trying to pick the ink out with a needle, literally butchering myself. It was like, what the hell have I done?
But do you know what though? Like, regardless of the fact that you got that covered, and this is something that I really love about tattooing. It doesn't matter if you really regretted it after you got it done. The fact is you remember it. You remember, and you can probably sit there and remember how you felt in that era of your life, like good things, bad things, and like I love everything about that, because I think that if you're the guy that's tattooing them, you know that like realistically most people remember how they kind of like how their life was at that time, and you know, good or bad or whatever, it's cool. Like, I remember my first tattoo on my stomach was in Estepona. You know, I got tattooed down in I can't remember, Andres, you know, Andres down near the seafront on in Estepona, and like I say, I remember it all. You know, it's like fucking mate. When he went onto the hip
on my stomach, it's fucking massive. You can put so much on there,
mate. I was skinny, right? I was skinny when I literally weighed 70 kilos. I didn't. That's another thing living in Spain, man. I never put fucking weight on. Like now, I'm like fucking struggling to get back off 100 kilos. like my first tattoo, mate, all it's done is gone since I got fat. It's fucking split in half. It's a fucking.
No, it's
But
all right now. You've got like a double-sized tattoo for the price of a
the
smaller
price of,
one.
oh
There
mate,
you go.
fucking hell. Was it your missus put there? Yep, dodgy Rod. My
Oh
first
yeah,
tattoo.
there was the guy in Torquay. His name was Dodgy Rod, but her and her family all went to get tattooed by him, and they didn't learn. A lot of them went back.
I went back for more.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It
I
was,
don't
it
know.
was it was really cheap. His work was shocking, to be fair.
Oh mate, it's but I kind of, when you first released your first song, because I want to kind of like get an insight into like how, like when you
Yeah, we
first
keep
finished
going
it, you
back.
were
This is what happens when two people with ADHD start talking.
fucking hell. I mean, I haven't actually been like um told that I've got it, but maybe I have got something because my
I
brain's
no
like
no
blah,
no.
blah, 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 blah,
I've
you
not
know.
been diagnosed, but I think it's pretty bloody
It's
obvious, to be fair.
it's fucking something, isn't there? But anyway, so like, what was it like when you had other people listen to what you thought, like how we were happy it was a finished record, like you it got out there, did it get to the radio? Did you get like that type of, like how far has your music gone, apart from obviously in YouTube, which
No,
also
but
by the way is fucking hard to keep up with, mate. It's I message you
it's
going your
the pro-
YouTube.
yeah. The problem I've got is that is like I say, generally when I say I do the music for me, right? So it's like I've been sat on, I think last week I uploaded 5 new tracks. Okay, so what someone would generally do is like any business, they do a marketing campaign.
Yeah,
They'd register it for the charts. Me, I get it finished. I'm so impatient. I just put it on. There's no time to promote it. Usually, you'd have music videos and stuff ready to go. I'm sat here, 5 songs just uploaded. Not had time to do a music video, and it's hard. It's the time, because obviously, first and foremost, I'm a husband and a father, and we have to provide. And then once you finish providing, then you've got to make sure you have that quality time when you're doing stuff. And then it's like, if you get time, yeah, do what you're passionate about. It's really
yeah,
so yeah, no, it's a hard one, obviously, but it could go somewhere, but it doesn't matter. It's like anything, you know. Uh what most people would do is put a lot of money into marketing that campaign. So they make the song, they've got the song. Before that song's released, they'll put it onto a pre-release. Then they'd have a music video ready to go, and they'd have like 10 or 20 reels ready to go, and they'd be hammering social media, boosting posts, this, that, and the other across all platforms, and build it up that way. Me, I'm like, oh, that's done, that is done. And then it's like the dopamine's gone the minute I see it on the streaming service, and it's like I forget about it. So there's not really. You'll know because I'll release a song. I'll spend a day just sharing a load of stuff, and then that'll be it. you won't see it again.
fucking hell.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
it's a hard
crazy,
one.
and yet, like your job is to fucking help people do exactly what you know
Exactly. Well, it's
that
like
you've got to do.
yeah, no, I work with a lot of tradesmen, right? So, have you ever been to like a tradesman's house, like a builder, for example? If you ever go into a builder's house, it's always a shithole. It's always half done.
Yeah,
They don't get round to it, but they're working on everyone else's house. So, there's the exact same thing happens to me.
yeah,
If I take a client on, I can do the work for them. I can get them noticed. I can get them because I put the time in. But yeah, when it comes to myself, I suppose the difference is that bills have to be paid, so the clients do have to come first.
yeah,
But within the next sort of 3 to 6 months, the business is sort of kind of at a place now where it's the bread and butter. The bills are getting paid. That's fine. So I'm looking forward to be able to spend some more time and do it properly.
yeah.
As time goes on, because I've got the skill set. I mean, you can't see there, but literally, I've got the studio lights and a green screen. It'd take me 10 minutes to get behind the green screen, record, put some backgrounds on, and do it a quick edit. It took me an hour to do a music video. It's just
Man,
by the
this
time
is
then,
A3 paper laminated.
yeah, that's right.
Just fucking like. But no, mate. I think at the end of the day, like for me, like with the whole thing I'm trying to do, I really believe that this has got something, and I think that if you believe that it's got something, you got to try your hardest to to. Obviously, for example, if you like you said earlier, like if you're happy flipping burgers, then you've achieved what you wanted. Like so, if you're happy just to create the music, but like I don't know, man. When I listen to like your
I mean,
songs,
if
I
you
think
if you're sat there and we're going back and forth, if in your heart you're truly happy talking to a middle-aged, fat, balding rapper, so be it,
fucking have it. No,
But
have it, man.
you
That's it,
don't
though,
have
isn't
to
it?
you don't have to be you don't have to be happy with your current situation to be, that hour a day when you're doing your podcast or whatever. If that's happy, that's great. And if you keep doing, the thing is, if you do keep doing it, something will come. I have no doubt in my mind that if I'm in a position where I can just focus on my music, focus on doing things would happen.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it'd blow up and it'd be amazing, blah blah blah, but things would happen where I could make revenue from it, and I could get put on good bills and festivals if I really promoted it and pushed it. I have the skill set to do that.
do you just not want it? Do you just not think that do you think that, like you say, you're just content where it is, or do you just feel that you just haven't got that? Like, I mean, if you like you say, if you're happy with the level of like where you've put your music, like where it is in existence,
I am for now. So I've always got a plan. And it's really sad when I say this. I'm fully aware that I'm one of these people that will never be happy. Till the day I die, I will never be. I'm going to rephrase that. I will never be 100% happy, right? And the reason
yeah,
being is that somewhere in your life, if you want something so bad, you get it. Something somewhere else is going to fall off. Does that make sense?
yeah, I get you.
And it's, even if I had everything, I know how my brain works. I will always want more. So if you've got a
Yeah,
brain that always wants more, that wants to move on to the next, it wants bigger and better, how can you ever be truly happy if you always want more? And that's kind of how my brain's working. So I've got a stage at the minute. Yeah, I'm working on the business. I'm doing music in my own time. And I love it, and it's great. Once that side of it's due, focus more on the music. Hopefully something will come off that if it does. But I'm always gonna be that person that is not content in what he's got, and he always wants more. Doesn't mean I'm going to be unhappy. It
no,
just means I'm not going to be fully complete. And I'm aware of that. I'm self-aware of
but
that, and
but I
that's
think,
completely fine.
but I think like
I think
I
that
think
applies for
that
most people.
I
I
think
just
that
think that
does, man.
most
I
people
think
just won't admit it the way I will.
yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
they've just not thought about it. People get into a grand illusion that, I'm really happy, I've got my husband and kids, I've got my nice job and this, like that. And, but if you really talk to yourself and you really talk to that inner child and you really think, there's always going to be something missing from your life. And if not, hats off to you, salute you. That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, but then, I mean, like they do say, like the comfort zone is a danger zone. When you're comfortable, you're not productive because you've got, you've not trying to achieve something. The creativity is. So I think, I mean, I think like if we're gonna kind of like tap into if we're gonna go down into like the idea of like, I think everything's just balance, man. Everything's just balance. Religion, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything is just balance. Like if you know that you're that guy that wants to wander off into another avenue, into like in respect of like, oh, what can I achieve next? And you know that, so you just got to try and keep. You got to like, I have to keep my head busy. Like for me, like I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to not have to go to work. Like I work obviously 12-hour shifts. So I'd love to just do this stuff, but I similar like you, like I know that if I'm not busy, if I haven't got something to work on,
Yeah.
and if you're somebody that has a brain that wants to play tricks, has a brain that wants to take you into dark places, it's a dangerous place to be. Like,
Oh no, it is.
you know,
I don't think I would ever be one of them people that would. I'd like to think. I always say, and I say this to my missus as well. It'd be great if you had enough money just to retire early. And then I'd be like, well, when I really sit down and think about it, I'm like, well, that's probably not the best for me.
no, I'm
I'll
the
probably
same, man.
work till the day. I'll probably work till the day I die doing something, whether I'm getting paid for it or not. But there'll always be something to
Yeah,
focus on and put my energy, because I am, as you touched on, a lot of us, we are our own worst enemy. You know, it's not
mate,
it's not the thoughts and the poison of other people that makes us
no,
feel shit. You know, we choose to
no,
listen to people. It's ourselves, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that's it. And
And
if you can overcome that battle, well, shit. If you can overcome that
oh,
battle,
fuck, mate, yeah.
you'll make millions anyway. If you can find a
Jesus.
solution to that.
Like I said to my like I know like with my missus, for example, like I know that she's like the one for me because she puts up with me. I fucking struggle to put up with myself, you know, so like I think I might have said this to you before, like so if you go on my tattoo page, which I know you have been on my tattoo page, you'll see no pictures of me like whatsoever. There's no video content. There's nothing of my face on my tattoo content because like this is like a big deal for me. Like even though now people are going, oh, all right, Josh, because you've done 40 odd episodes and you got your face all over shit.
Yeah.
Like only today when I did the video, when I got off the phone with you, I was like, right, you know, what time we're doing, you know, blah 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 blah. I did at least 7 attempts of that video, like at least 7 attempts because I fucking struggle. So like for me, this is such a big achievement in putting my face on a camera. Even though like right now it feels like oh it's just me talking to Kev, you know, like we're just chatting like we have done in the past. But obviously I'm aware that potentially we could have hundreds of people, even though we don't, but we've we've got a couple of people on on here and there's a couple of people also watching on Instagram and like I'm cool with that and like I think like it's like one of my all I want people to feel from what I'm trying to do is like I just want people to really feel that like this genuinely is exciting for me. Like it's nerve wracking and it truly means a lot that I'm able to do this with people. Like that's all I want. I want people to like. I did obviously I got like given some clothing by 50 Cal Clothing. It was like people reached out to me. It was like this guy reached out and he's like, look, I like what you're doing. I'd love to send you a t-shirt, a hoodie, and a hat. And like I was like, wow, like fucking hell, like because when I listen back to myself, not that I'd listened back to much of it, but when I have to pull the audio to upload to Spotify, obviously I have to kind of flick through it. And I'm thinking, fuck me, all I'm doing is waffling on like blah, da, 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 because that's obviously how my like literally how I sound to me is like how what my brain's doing in
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no,
And
I get what you mean. Do you find with your missus that I don't? Are you guys so opposite?
oh fucking hell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is the thing. It's like me and my missus. You couldn't pick two opposites.
It
But
works. Yeah.
it does work, and these are the best relationships that do work. And we find that if I'm having a bad day, she's there to pick me up, and it's vice versa. It's like it's
Yeah.
very, very rare that both of us will feel like shit on the same day.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like
exactly.
there's something interconnected between you. It's like, right, I have to pick you up, right, you have to pick me up,
Yeah, it
and
sounds
that's
like
like a
proper fucking it sounds, but yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and that's what I mean, like kind of where I was going with that was like, I know that she fucking is going to be with me forever because I struggle to put up with myself. And I know people say this shit and they're like, oh, all right, yeah, it's easy to say that. But like, no, seriously, like, I've said to her so many because I say I'm that creative fucker. All of a sudden, I want to be a tattooist, and like I said, I love tattooing. I haven't finished with my tattooing journey, but like and then now I'm doing this. I mean, this is coming up a year that I set up 666 Customs, but like my brain is like that all the fucking time, and she still entertains that. She
It is
still
because
lets.
obviously
Do you know what I
she
mean?
obviously she sees a spark in you that hopefully, and when I first started getting into business, the amount of debts and companies and this is the best idea, this is going to take on, we're going to make loads, and then it crashes and burns, and then it's like no, right, I've learned from that mistake, let's get on the horse, we're going to do it again, off the horse again, and it's like, what the fuck's going
Yeah,
on? But
yeah.
then, something clicks. And it's like I said to you before, you learn from your mistakes. Do you know what I
Also, we
mean?
think.
So it's kind of like, what was that? Basically, sometimes William Mayman just want to say, wake up and one day be a terrorist.
Oh fucking hell! Oh, that's Dan. He's Jesus. He'll know. He knows he'll get in trouble for that. Like not from me. He knows Facebook will be on his fucking back
Daniel's going to Facebook jail.
He's been in there, mate. Like, yeah, he commented before, and it weren't even anything like out of order. And he fucking rang me. He was like, "Mate, they fucking banned my comment." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "He's like, I don't know." I was like, "Fucking hell." Yeah.
Well, in his defense, he is saying that it was Facebook subtitles that said that. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's fucking. No, he's a good lad. He's Dan as well. He's fucking I used to work with him. He's got into his bikes and fucking it's cool. I nicknamed him Fanny Danny because he tapped out on a fucking tattoo. Well, I say he tapped out. I'm slow as fuck, so I think I had the side of his leg for about 8 or 9 hours, and all I did is manage to outline this thing, and we never got it finished. So to be fair, he ain't actually a fanny. I'm just slow as fuck, mate. Yeah. What was that? Did I though? Funny. But yeah. But no. What is it? So I really like because you didn't actually answer my question. Like,
what was the question?
What was it like? What was it? What was it like? Not like when other people listen to one of your finished songs. Like, what did it feel like to you?
What do you mean? If they say they relate to it or something like that?
No, like you'd finished a song, and you released it. Like, was it scary knowing that other people was going to hear it? Like, how did it feel like when you were in the same room as somebody? You know, like that.
I don't really give a shit. I'm a nightmare, me. So like, if we're going out for a drink and stuff, I'm the guy who's like meeting random people, taking the phone off them, going on Spotify or Apple Music, and following myself and saying, "You've got to listen to this. You listen to this."
Kill it, then.
But no. To be honest, I don't really give it two thoughts. I mean, it's kind of I live my life by a couple of sayings, and this is what I've sort of, I would want these quotes on my gravestone as such. Is like, what one is treat people the way you expect to be treated. I think that's that's a given. But the other one is we all die. The goal is not to live forever; it's to create something that will.
So you've got that on your Facebook page, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of take pride that when I'm dead and gone and I'm ashes or whatever. If my son has kids and their son, they can go back and they can actually go back and listen, to their granddad, their great granddad, and say, look, this is, and that's generally what it's about. It's sort of leaving something, if someone stumbles across it one day in the future and they relate to it, it's I think it's a human obligation to try and leave a bit of positivity wherever you go and to be a strong influence to people. So if if people can find that, if you've got even if I release 100 songs and one person listens to it and one person that can relate to it and they find comfort in it, that's fucking fantastic. That's how many people can say that, I bettered that complete stranger's life, even if it's just one. That's all. It brings me back to what I said at the very beginning. It's really not about anyone else. The music is for me. I'm probably my biggest listener. When people say, you get these artists like, oh, I don't listen to my own music. Well, why are you making it? I make my music because I like the music I make. Oh, I wouldn't make it. I'm not going to make something that I don't like. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like I don't like my own voice. I hate my own voice. But when I listen back to it, I don't really give a shit about what other people think. But when I listen back to it, if I can listen back to it and go, I'm happy with that. I'm proud of that. That gives me the dopamine hit I need. So that's what it's about.
What is it like when you do listen back to one of your songs? Like, what are you feeling? I suppose it obviously depends on the song, but like,
it depends on the song. It's funny sometimes, like the track Deeper, where I go really, really deep, hence the title. I think I made that song, the original version, and I went back and listened to it about 6 months later, and then when I actually listened to it again, I was like, I must have been in a good headspace. I'm like, wow, this is really dark. This is a bit depressing. I'm depressing myself. I'm in a good place, but I'm the one responsible for depressing myself. That was a bit weird. That was a bit surreal. I don't know really what to say on that.
Yeah, no, that's I get that though. I get that. Like I've kind of like said to people, like
It's like you. I mean, repeat the question back on you. You know, you're scrolling on Facebook. You see your podcast come up. You must have a
mate. Yeah,
listen. You must have a watch,
yeah,
and you must be.
yeah,
What's
yeah. You know, it's
what's the feeling you get?
fucking hell. Yeah, mate. I I've learned some bits about myself. Weird because obviously, like when you are like, for me, like when I'm in like a proper moment in my head, like I've had a couple of scenarios on a podcast where I'm in like a proper moment, and like generally speaking, I kind of almost look like I'm dazing out, and like you listen back to that, and then you see your expressions, and it's weird because you kind of, I don't know, it's like even weird to explain it, but like, so I had one, right, I mentioned it actually last night on last night's podcast. So I was talking to, I interviewed a guy, and we got to a part of the subject where he'd lost a friend on a motorbike, and I'd lost a friend. I mean, obviously in Spain, it used to be that you used to be able to ride a 50cc at 14. I think that law's changed now. But I spoke to my friend on a Friday night, I think it was, and Saturday afternoon, my old man he was like called me like, "Where are you?" What? And I was like, "Why? What's up?" Like, he said, "I need to have a word with you." And then he told me that my friend had got killed on. He died on his bike, and it was like looking back on that clip, because I wanted to find his bit, and obviously my bit was it on, naturally it's in a conversation, so it was in the same clip, and like shit, I thought it's weird, man, because it's weird because obviously like you can relate to somebody, and like same like yourself, like I feel, I don't know, I think I'm not even really good at answering shit, but
I'm just doing what you did to me. Let's see how you
yeah,
like it.
yeah, but no, but he's like you seem to, I don't know, I feel like I've learned shit about myself, man. I don't know why. And it's like when I said to you like a few months ago, like I keep saying to my missus and like my close friends that actually put up with listening to me on a regular weekly basis on a phone call, whatever, like I really believe that what I'm trying to create here is really going to become something that I'm actually gonna be able to move my family back to Spain, for example, and also help, like also create money for other people, like within what I'm trying to achieve here. How I'm going to do that is, well, hopefully you're the man to fucking help me a lot with that shit. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just feel that it's got something, because I think that at the end of the day, people are coming on my platform. They're quite clearly not coming on here to gain followers, because I don't have the followers to give them, but people know that because I can't even lie about that shit. Like I haven't said to you, "Oh, Kel, let's get on the podcast, man. I'm going to fucking help." But I think
They're
people
doing
resonate
it.
with.
They're doing it because they
That's
want
what
to
I mean.
support you. They appreciate what you're doing, and
That's it,
everyone does. And
and
what
that's all
I
that
find,
matters.
what I find a lot, which is generally, people, you generally expect everyone, on your Facebook feed. If you share something creative, like you share your podcast, I share my song, you should automatically think realistically. Say you've got 500 Facebook friends, you should have 500 likes, 500 shares,
And they don't.
but you don't.
No.
They don't. And that's really hard.
Yeah,
People are
because it's
seeing it.
free. It's free.
It's free, and it's just a simple, it's just a blatant lack of support. I'm not just saying
Yeah.
this even from a creative point of view. They might not be into hip hop, they might not be into motorbike podcasts, but if it comes to something like your business, for example,
Yeah.
it takes a minute. It don't even take a minute to click share, and you are supporting someone's family.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So it kind of pisses me off.
And what's a
Is that
shame? What's a shame, Kev, is like, sorry to butt in there, like, but if me and you was to sit here and title this podcast, we are gonna slag the fuck out of Joe Blogs, and we're gonna literally sit here with drink, get drunk, and cause a load of chaos. It's upsetting to know that we would have loads more people watching right now.
well, let's do
And
that
it's
next. Let me tell you what, next episode, let's do that. Let's just test it. Let's just have a run. Slag
you
every
know,
fucker off.
yeah, like the list.
Yeah.
And because like obviously like earlier, I even like obviously we got onto like a bit of like whinging, but we're not actually slagging anybody off directly. Do you know what I mean? Like we're just whinging. That's because like middle-aged men that are we're on the crossover to becoming old and like irrelevant.
I think
That's
I
what we
crossed
do,
over
you know.
a few years ago now, yeah.
But like the fact is like there is no. It is a shame that people engage in negative. It's like I don't watch soaps, and I think it's such a shame that like that you'll get you'll get an episode, they'll make a fucking storyline, and whether it be like for example, they'll create an alcoholic, but they never fucking create the story of them rebuilding their life. Like why?
No.
Do you know what I mean? And it fucking angers me. It angers, and it's like when they create a fucking storyline on someone getting abused. Like,
Yeah, but
why?
it all goes
Why?
back, and I know we
You
don't
know?
want to try and get like political in the system and conspiracy theories and all this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. But the system, the media, the TV, it is designed to suppress people. A lot of it is designed to feel like shit. There's a reason that when you put on the news, it's about the wars and the poverty, and there's never no good news on the news. And you know that's not, you know, people would sit there. I'd like to believe a bit in humanity here, where if there was, you know, half an hour, 6 o'clock, ITV News, BBC News, whatever. Here's half an hour of fucking feel good stories from around the globe. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
And I mean, and my opinion on that, right, is like I believe that the reason why, for example, that men and like red-blooded men that like stand by basic morals and dignity and self-respect and know the difference between right and wrong. The reason why them people like I believe I am, I believe like you are, like people that stand by morals and dignity, like we're deemed unacceptable because the thing is like if you're able to motivate people and inspire people, you're dangerous, and the government can't have you around. You know, that's why I think that that's why red-blooded alpha males are suppressed, and you know, you're not okay in today's society. And like the truth is like all this other general stuff and people with different beliefs and whatever, like the reality is like 99% of us don't actually care, but obviously
But
you know,
that's
we
what
don't
they've
really want to.
always done. They did that
Do you
with
know what
Bob
I mean?
Marley. They did that with Tupac. They did that with anyone that can, you know, voice an opinion.
Motivate, yeah. Motivate
and
people.
motivate, you know, a culture
Inspire, yeah.
to rise up. And it's sad. But that's just it's the way the world works. I mean, like take Andrew Tate for example. This might age badly, you know. I disagree with a lot of stuff he says, but one thing that can't be said about him from a lot of the stuff I've seen is that he is trying to teach men to take a bit of responsibility. And some of the videos I've seen of him, the genuine videos, are not. He's not how the media portray him. No. You know, but then he does say some stuff which, of course, are going to get him a bigger audience. But is he really clever? He's saying that shit on purpose to get a bigger audience.
And that's it, isn't it? And you know, like literally go back to like 2 minutes ago, less than 5 minutes ago, was if we titled this chatting shit about XYZ, there would be more people that would like you know what,
that's actually a proper good title for this.
XYZ.
From what we've done for the last hour.
Yeah, people were like, fucking hell, like what's actually, but it doesn't matter, you know. It's like I just wanted to kind of obviously get an idea and an insight into like what kind of like, I mean, fucking hell, you know, I don't even, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's cool as hell. I just love it. I love the fact that like just being able to speak to somebody that's very similar minded, creativity, and like it's hard to like fucking keep yourself in check, let alone create anything. You know,
yeah.
Like,
it's hard to give yourself a kick up the ass to do something.
Yeah, and not just that, like fucking telling yourself to behave, because like I mean, I have to tell myself all the time, like I'm like, look, mate, you know, gotta get a fucking like my missus at one point, because obviously I started to like really try to learn how to like become better in my mind, like motivation, like motivating myself, and like I'd listen to like motivating podcasts and like I listen to like Wes Watson a lot. Like this fucker, he'll turn around and say, "Look, you're a fat piece of shit. Sort your life out." And like for me, I personally feel that I need people like that in my life, like in my head, because I can't be comforted like that. That whole there, it's okay. No, it ain't okay. Quite clearly, it's not okay. It's okay to admit that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like I was actually only talking to somebody today. Like I think it's such a shame that the whole title in the UK of "It's okay not to be okay." I agree with that bit, but I think it's a shame that I feel that there's the most important piece I feel is missing off the end. And what I mean is when they turn to me, if I was to retitle it, it would be "It's okay not to be okay, but it isn't okay to stay there." And
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
think it's such a shame.
Yeah.
I think it's such a shame that people comfort people on low vibes, like, and leave them there, like, and then they give them
You need to get
medication.
that on a t-shirt. I'll buy one of them.
But do you know what I mean? Like because obviously, you know, at the end of the day, when somebody comforts somebody and goes, "It's okay," like they might be comforting a parent, and the kids are picking up on that vibe, or they're living around that vibe, and I think it's fucking disgusting. I think it's, I think obviously it's
It's
hard to
just
not
like
end up.
people are
Do you know what I mean?
people are kind of raising children to kind of depend. They could constantly depend on other people other than themselves, depend on the medication, depend on someone else to provide. Where it should be like, right, okay, you feel like shit now. We'll try and get you through this. But how are we going to improve your mind frame? What are we going to do that's going to help you? How are we going to better you?
Mm,
I say to my son, I'm probably a bit too real with him for his age. I'll say, it's down to you. You can't rely on anyone. Like the song I released last week, and you picked up on the lyrics before, and his lyrics in there, it says, "You can't rely on anyone, not even the ones that raised you. They're usually the ones that enslave you in this life. So roll the dice and remember that you can't die twice." And he actually turned around to me because that's a fully like he likes that one. He put it on his own
yeah,
playlist, and he said, "So you saying I can't always rely on you?" And I said, "At this moment in time, yes, of course you can. But I don't know what the future holds. If in
yeah,
8 years' time you become an absolute idiot and you're doing things I don't agree with, and you're just being a complete asshole, then no, you're not going to be able to rely on me because I've tried to instill in you the person that I think you should be morally,
mm,
a good person. So if you turn around and you're not them things and you do something to hurt me or someone else that is totally unjust, and I've taught you differently, then no, you can't rely on me. You're on your own at that age."
yeah,
And
yeah,
and as an
100%. Yeah,
11-year-old, it's like,
yeah. I mean,
but
do you know what, mate? I'm exactly the same. Exactly. All I ask of my kids is that they try their hardest and they be honest with me. I say to my boys, I'm like, look, if you can look me in the eye and say, "Dad, I tried my best at school," like, and like you look me in the eye and you stand by it and you stand by it. I said, I will back you 100%, like 100%. I mean, I had it even like where my son had come home from school and I was like, you could tell he was upset. I was like, "What's up with you, mate?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I might be facing detention." My son's never been in detention. I was like, "Why? What's up?" He says, well, I've lost my history book. I'm like, "Well, that's on you." I said, "That one's on you." I said, "What's the other one?" And he went, "Well, I did some homework, I handed it in, and the teacher's saying I didn't do it." I was like, "Right, okay." And he's like, "I'm going to do it." I said, "No, you're not." And me and my son, we had a debate about it. And I was like, and he did it because he'd never been in detention. And he's like, "Oh, I've done it, Dad." I'm like, "Oh, that's okay, son." I said, "But I'm still going to school." And he's like, "Oh, why?" I'm like, "Because all I ask of you is that you try your hardest." I said, "I am not going to ask you again to try your hardest. If you've done it, if you've done the work I've asked you to do, and obviously, like the way I looked at that is, if my son was lying, he wouldn't have told me he's lost his history book. So I'm like, he's clearly not lying. Like, he doesn't gain
yeah,
anything by admitting to losing the history book. So he did the work, and I was like, "That's fine, mate, but I'm still going to your school." And I did, and I went to the school. I tried going in. They weren't, obviously the headmaster wasn't available. I got on the phone to him. I was like, "Look, my son's come home from school feeling like this. You've made him feel like this because of the incompetence of one of your colleagues." I said, "I only asked my son to do the work once." I said, "I won't ask him again." I said, "If he's done it, he's done it." I said, "That's on you." I said, "He wouldn't be facing detention because I'm not going to let him have detention. Because I'm that guy." Like, and that's what I
yeah.
mean. I have that side of me. I'm like, "Do you know what? No, fuck you. Like, I'll fucking take you all on." Like, I mean, when it comes to me, like,
You have a problem with
you know,
authority figures.
mate, I have you know what's fucking crazy though? Is like I'll back down to a lot of things for myself, but when it comes to my family, you know, and I think any red-blooded fucking man that has, like we said earlier, morals, dignity, self-respect, knows what's right and wrong, will fucking take on the world, you know, for their
Yeah.
family. And I think that we need more of that. We need more people like that. And that's what I mean. Like I think like how we spoke about quite a lot through this is like if all you have to offer your son is morals, dignity, self respect, and the desire to continue to push forward, to learn, to stand by what they believe in. Like, realistically, like you said, like, you're going to achieve whatever it is you want anyway because you ain't going to fucking quit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And even if you don't, if you die trying, you'll never know.
No.
You'll never know. As
Yeah.
long as it's not giving up the fight, you know, whether
Yeah.
that's mentally, professionally, um, it's that is everything. I think the minute you give up is the minute you find yourself, you know, mentally, financially, um, in big trouble. In you know,
And
it's,
it's
it,
fucking it's hard to stay away from it. Like it's hard to not like we've all probably fallen into that fuck it, what's the point mindset. You know, I've been there.
it is. There's been places where you first sort of feel like paralyzed and you're just gone for a couple of weeks, and then you know. But that's something that one minute you wake up and you're like, "What the fuck have you been doing? Sort yourself out," you
Like for me, it's
know.
come.
And
For
that's
me,
it. But that's the if
yeah.
if you didn't have that word with yourself and you didn't come out of it, that's giving up, and then you're just a shell of the person that you used to be and who you wanted to be.
Like one of the best things, you know, one of the best things my missus said to me, like, and it fucking sounds horrible, but like, she turned around and called me a hypocrite. She was like, "You're a fucking hypocrite," and I'm like, "Do you know what? You're right." Because like, I kept saying to like my kids, like, all you got to do is try your best and be honest. Like, you try, like, believe, you know, and I realized like I've got all this fucking shit to tell people, and like I'm not doing any of it myself. I mean, I still like for me, my biggest comfort thing is, luckily for me, my vice is food. And I say luckily, it's not a good thing. You know, I'm lucky it's not any addictive substance. I drugs or alcohol. But like I can't eat like fuck, man. You know, like, and I know it's bad. You know, like I know like, I don't eat a lot. I just eat at the wrong time. So I'll like go into the kitchen and
I
do
think
like.
that's me. I can go all day without eating. As soon as
Mate, I'm the same.
it's like as soon as the sun sets, I'm like, right, snacks, Walking Dead.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
me
That's
then.
that's it. And yet you know that it's like not good for you, and it's
It's
like,
like,
but it don't.
it's like some other of my lyrics. It's like I'm great at giving advice, but I can't take my own. Some
Mate, I'm
people,
fucking the
a lot
same.
of people tell you know me. I'm very good at giving people advice in life
I'm
situations,
a fucking
professionally,
hypocrite.
whatever. But I can't take my own advice. You know, it's just
No.
something I can't do. Um,
But do you think that that's possible? Like, do you think is it a defense? Is it a defense mechanism? Because then when you've got to take your own advice, that means you've got to deal with yourself.
yeah, you probably hit the nail. Yeah, yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. No, it probably is.
Do you know?
It's stupid things, isn't it? It's like
I can't sleep without telly on. I can't be left alone in my head. Like I can have a great day, and yet when it's quiet, it's fucking dangerous. It's fucking dangerous. My
well,
head's a dangerous place.
it's weird. I used to be able to just sleep. I used to have to. It used to have to be pitch black. It used to have to be silent. My missus can't sleep without something on in the background. Um, and now I started listening to these. I'm not sure if they work, but it's like, and she'll fall asleep, and I'll put these like deep sleep videos on YouTube, and it's just ambient sounds that sort of like kind of relax you. I've had an absolute nightmare with sleep the last sort of probably 6 months now. So erratic. I'm either not sleeping or sleeping too much or this,
I'm the
that, and the
same.
other. Like, my sleeping pattern is
Exactly the same, mate.
absolutely
And
mental.
I go from a week of nights to then a week of days. Like it's fucking wow. Like literally, I do 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Then I do that for 4 days, and I get 4 off, and then I do 6 at night till 6 in the morning. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But but yeah, I think kind of. So, what's the next plan with your music? I know, like, with what's happening next.
Next plan is actually going to be quite cool. Actually, I've got a couple of music videos to do. I've got a couple of other songs, but I'm doing a couple of songs with my son.
Wow, that's cool.
He's a YouTuber, so he does like Fortnite videos and FIFA videos
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
see. I know he does Fortnite.
But
Yeah,
he is a very good rapper and a very good lyricist. So I'll be.
awesome.
We've got a song we're working on, which is it's quite cool. It's like a throwback to some like hip hop classics. It's like he'll come in and it's like, my dad spits fire, he spits flames, he be a public enemy because he got game, he be real insane in the brain and he'll make you jump around like the house of pain. So it's like gonna go back and forth. It's gonna be cute.
That's awesome.
It's gonna
That's
be
cool.
something that we can look back on and
I
we'll do
think,
a video for it.
yeah, man, definitely. Because I was lucky enough to have, I think when you can vibe with your dad or like someone someone like that. Like, I was lucky to have that with my dad. Like, I built my first bike with him. Um, we were best mates. We were absolutely best mates. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking, like, my old man was like a bad fucking. Oh, he's a great role model for me, but like rebellious, like out rebel to society. Like, mate, I fucking built a first bike. I lived next door to a Guardia Civil, right? I had no insurance, no license, no logbook, man. I fucking built that bike and set off for Portugal. And I fucking, my dad on his bike right next to me, mate. It was fucking, we were fucking proper fucking rebels,
Yeah,
man.
well, I've
I
seen
love
this.
that shit.
I've seen this in personal experience. Is that if you're neighbours with the Guardia, you've got a free pass generally with that
Yeah.
person. They don't care.
Yeah, mate. He used to
Um,
come in the garage, man, just because he obviously most Spanish love bikes. You know, like motorbikes are massive there, as you probably know, because they're out
yeah,
everywhere. You know, like he'd come in the shed in my garage just to look at what I was doing. Like, it was clearly on an English number plate. I mean, fucking hell, we were printing off our own shit, man. I mean, I know I'm saying this live on here, but like, it was obviously fucking like 20 years ago. It don't fucking matter now, but.
you ain't getting back in the country now.
Oh, mate, no. Hola, no hablo español, amigo. You know, but yeah, no, it's fucking. I mean, the point being, like, to be able to do something that you can proper vibe with your dad, like, you never forget that, regardless of whether you don't see eye to eye all the time or whatever. Like, if you can experience that, I think it's insane. Insane.
Yeah,
It's such a cool thing. Like, really cool.
he is.
That'd be cool, man.
He's such a character as well. And speaking of him, I have to get off because it's an hour later here.
Yeah, 9:30 for you, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
it's
it's a
been
school night.
it is a school night. What time is he? Does he still? Is it 9 o'clock for him in the morning that he starts school? 9.
No, I put him in. I put him in on online school.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, my son. Obviously, I touched on it. How I feel about the educational system is that he's literally in school for an hour and a half a day, 4 days a week now, just doing his core subjects.
Okay,
And then he
that's
spends
cool.
the rest of the time working for our company. So he's learning to video edit, audio edit, do graphic design, which he gets paid for. And then he's obviously working on doing his YouTubing and stuff as well. So he's learning skills that will take him wherever he needs to go, if he needs to do it,
Yeah,
while still
yeah.
doing his school, but not doing all the crap that comes with school, if that makes sense.
So does it? So does he speak Spanish?
No, a little bit. But no,
Okay,
we made the mistake of when we got here, we put him in an English school.
right.
Um, but you do hear things about the Spanish schools, like they get these kids are getting put back years or 2 years for no reason. They're getting the amount
Oh
of
yeah.
homework.
If you don't pass, I mean, obviously, I did Spanish schooling. If you don't pass, your grades, you don't move forward.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, fucking hell, yeah. When I left Spanish school, Um, I think I'd only got to year 8, I think. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing either. I think at the end of the day, it kind of puts in you the reality of, like, if you're prepared to fuck about, this is what happens. You know, I mean, I just always knew that I was going to go my way around life. Like, I knew that to me, going that way was boring. I found the need to do that with absolutely everything. Which, you know, but no, I mean, I'm grateful I went to Spanish school. I think learning Spanish was incredible. I mean, I'm fluent. I mean, I went to my first school was Sabi School in 2001. You know, yeah, when I went to that school, man, like it was an experience. Literally walking down the corridor at the school, the teacher points at the table and chair because obviously she could say what the fuck she wanted to me. I didn't understand any of it. I looked around and my parents had gone, and I'm like, right, welcome. Do you know what I mean? Literally, I was like, fuck. Like, but I think that is what it is, you know. I mean, I'll like, hopefully I get to come back and like with my family, and I can kind of give my kids a similar experience, but however theirs will be a lot easier because I speak Spanish, and like then their cousins are in school over there, and
I'm sure you'll get back here. If that's what you want, you will get back here.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Well, I say I'll bring tattoo machine and we'll do a load of tattooing, man. It'd be sick.
Yeah, I'll tattoo your leg for 9 hours. See how you like it.
Mate, I tattooed my missus' shin, mate, was about 9. She fell asleep though, man. Fucking that
I'm kind of like that with tattoos, though. I just kind of like chill and I get almost sleepy. Yeah, but people react to it differently, don't they?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop, even though the process isn't. You know, once you, I think with me, once you hit the 4-hour mark, it starts feeling a bit tetchy, and then nearly crashed and passed out twice because of tattoo flu. You know, you've not got enough blood sugar or something.
Oh yeah. Sugar levels drop, mate. You start clucking. You're like,
yeah. The first time I got that, I shit myself. I'm like, what the fuck?
What's going on here, man? Yeah. He's sat there fucking shaking like a smackhead, like. But no, mate, it's been an honor. It's been cool as fuck, man. It's pretty much how I thought it was gonna go. Really, there was no, like we sat out earlier, like before we went live, like, right, well, I kind of wanted, and you were like, yeah, we're just. And I'm like, no, don't. I'm in my head. I'm like, no, mate. Please tell me which way we got to go with this, because like, I just fucking waffle on from it. It just made sense for me to do this because I can just chat all fucking day. I think longest podcast I've done is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
That's easy.
Like, fucking mate, I love it. I think it was like I was destined, like I was supposed to do this. You know.
I'm itching. Don't forget me wrong. I've had a great time and that, but I'm itching to get away from this chair now. I'm like bouncing off the walls.
Yeah. Well, anyway, mate, I'm gonna. So obviously, people that want to listen to music, where do they find you?
Well, I've got the website fatmanzrevenge.com, or you just go on, open, you know, your iTunes, your Amazon Music, your Spotify, Fatmanz Revenge. You should find it there.
Now you say that because when I tried to find you on YouTube, man, I'm swear there's about 3 or 4 different variations of your music, like accounts. Like I couldn't find one of your songs that I messaged you and I was like, I can't find it.
Are you sure they didn't try to? Because obviously it's Fatmanz with a Z, Revenge.
Right.
So obviously search engines think you're spelling it wrong. You know,
I mean, you probably know me well enough already to know that I probably was putting it wrong. Fuck you.
I got all the links on my Facebook as well. So you should find that. And like I say, I'm pretty shit with marketing my own stuff. So that's the main issue you've probably got is me.
Mate, I'm the same, man. We're fucking crazy, isn't it? But anyway, mate, I will let you get off. And it has been fucking cool as hell. And I appreciate you jumping on here and obviously people want a website building and shit. They can get hold of you on your. They can get hold of you.
Thanks. I'm very good at web design, but I hate it.
Oh, you don't want any more?
I don't want any more. I'm going.
All right, I'll take that one.
No, obviously for friends or whatever. Yeah, that's not an issue. But
obviously,
just in case, even if we've got 3 viewers and 2 of them like, oh, I'll get a website now. No, it's all right. Stay away.
Stay away. Shit. But right, mate.
Right, mate.
Thank you
Pleasure.
very much.
Thanks for having me on.
I'll catch you later, bud.
All right. Cheers, mate. See you in a bit.